Hello, BookTube. There's a really fun discussion going around called Tell Me Why I'm Wrong. This was started by JJ. You know her channel. She's a diva. Go check her out. She's incredible. But the prompt, the whole thing is what are some books you are wrong about? And people in the comments, after I talk about all these books, have to convince me that I am wrong. And I thought that seems really fun. And I also have to list a book that also you have to give a second chance. And so that seems really fun. So I've got my list right here. In the original video, JJ, I think she done books. Mike done three, and I'm gonna double it. So I'm doing six, plus two books that people need to give a second chance. So we're not getting a big Andrew list today. We're just getting a condensed version of it. Because trust me, this list could have been longer. I'm gonna stick to books that I get that I'm on a different wavelength than books I just outright hate. Because that's more fun than just saying I don't like this, I hate it, I'm moving on. Like I've made that video, and you've heard me talk about some of those authors before, but these are more books where I see it, I get it, but I feel empty when I read it. It does nothing for me. I am left cold. So here's the list, and let's start. So the first author on this list is Patrick White. Probably the national Australian novelist, the most famous one, especially in his time. I have read everything by this man. I've read all of his novels. I've read his own memoir. I've read his letters. I've read short stories, like plays, everything by Patrick White over my years. And I don't like him at all. I don't get it. I think he's very much like D.H. Lawrence, like the poor man's D.H. Lawrence. Like we have D.H. Lawrence at home in Australia, and like trying to be like a Virginia Woolf in terms of that modernist 20th century writing. But it's like if you fuse Virginia Woolf and D.H. Lawrence together, and then just dump it in Australia, and it's not as good. Like that's that's the equivalent. I like Voss, I guess, but his big novel, but when it starts getting to like some of the magical like telekinesis stuff going on in that, I'm like, girl, like I like Patrick's ideas for novels, but something about him is just so dull in a way that other famous Australian authors I like tend not to be. Like another we'll talk about soon, but I don't want to give it away. But the only thing I have ever liked from Patrick White is David Marr's big biography of him, and that's literally it. White's letters are very boring, but yeah, and it's pretty weird that there's some authors you read everything, and the only thing you really like about them is something that was written by someone else about that author. But Patrick White is like the definition of that. I don't own any of them physically. I used to have an insane stash of him, but I got rid of all of them because now I have everything he wrote on my Kindle, and I'll go back to it. Like that's the thing with this entire list. I will go back to these books. They're not completely written off. But yeah, we're kicking it off with Patrick White, who, not liking the national author of your, most famous author in your country is a bit crazy. But he just literally does nothing for me. Next, we have Proust, Marcel Proust. I have not read the entire In Search of Lost Time. I've got many more things I'd rather read. I get what Proust is doing, but it just absolutely does nothing for me. I find it so boring, tedious. I'm just waiting for the plot to kick in. I got through the first volume of Swan's Way. I read that and I was like, okay, nothing happens. But I tried to get through the second volume. I literally just could not do it. I unhold it. I can find it as an ebook, whatever. But maybe I should try something else with Proust first. I don't even know what he wrote outside of In Search of Lost Time. Maybe I should do like a biography or something just to, get in that way. But yeah, Proust, I get what he's doing. It just literally just does nothing for me. Especially when I look over Proust and I can see, oh my god, Virginia Woolf, right there. Kafka from that same time period, girl, it's no competition. Edith Wharton. So yeah, I'll try Proust again one day. To show you how much I'm not interested in Proust, I went to my local tip, which is, they have like a tiny 50-cent book rack there, and they had an entire like how many volumes In Search of Lost Time has, all a complete set of In Search of Lost Time in absolutely gorgeous hardcovers, and for like 50 cents each, and I did not pick them up. Like literally, not even at that low price I would pay for Proust. It just, I don't know, but Proust, yeah, we'll move on because he's yeah. Next we have John Steinbeck. Now this is two certain Steinbeck novels. We're not talking about all of Steinbeck because I really like Steinbeck. I like his nonfiction. I love his journals, Travels with Charlie, and also Once There Was a War, The Moon is Down. I like Of Mice and Men and the Pearl. What else? I can't remember everything I have of him, but I do have a good bunch of his stuff. I like his King Arthur book, which is pretty weird because I'm not the biggest King Arthur person, but I really like Steinbeck. But I do not like Grapes of Wrath and East of Eden. I think they're Steinbeck, more East of Eden actually, but Steinbeck he's trying too hard, especially with East of Eden. I feel like he's trying to be it's like kind of something he's not in terms of like the experimentalness of the themes. It's just, I think, Steinbeck reaching beyond what makes him great, which is that he's a very great short, punchy writer, in the way that Hemingway only dreams he could be. But I really like Steinbeck, but Grapes of Wrath just done absolutely nothing when I read it. I thought it was fine. Maybe it's like an American thing more. Kind of like Henry Lawson or someone like that over here. But yeah, those two novels by John Steinbeck just do absolutely nothing for me. But I will go back to them because they're not bad. They're just like, again, I can see why people love them, but it's out of reach for me, and I need to work on that. Next, number what were we up to? 4. We've still got 2 more after this, is probably the most infamous author who I've gone back and forth with, and that is Mr. Charles Dickens, or Mr. Darl's Chickens for those who know. I don't even know where to start with my relationship with Dickens. I ranked all these novels on this channel. It's my most viewed video. I used to own all of Dickens, and I've got rid of all of it except I think the only Dickens in terms of his fiction I own now is The Pickwick Papers and Our Mutual Friend. And his fiction does really nothing for me, to be honest. And it's weird because Dickens, outside of his fiction, I love his travel writings, him going to Italy and then Boston. Oh my god, I love it so much. Claire Tolman and Peter Ackroyd's, they're both biographies of Dickens, and the 2 biographies both of them done are some of my favorite author biographies ever. I love them so much. I have been reading my way through Charles Dickens' letters, and I love it so much. But his fiction does absolutely bare minimum for me. There's bits of Dickens I like. Like, I like how he does the social commentary stuff, but watching him try to do child labor and all that stuff in these stories, but try to have this like whimsical coming of age plot with it too, and the humor, which is just so lame and stiff, like fusing all 3 of them together, like clashing. It's just so not my thing. I don't like that Dickens is very much over your shoulder. He expects you to find him charming, and I just don't feel like he is. And and the thing is, it's like death by comparison in a way, because when I pick up Oliver Twist, or Great Expectations, or David Copperfield, or anything like that, I'm like, I could be reading George Eliot. I could be even reading Thomas Hardy, or Wilkie Collins. Like, it's not that good, but it's fun at least. But yeah, Dickens, outside of like his fiction alone, does really nothing for me. There's bits of Dombey and Son when it comes to like some of the social critiques going on, and like Little Dorrit exploring the prison system I really like. Edwin Drood, I guess, has some good moments, but outside of that, it's just, maybe if Dickens wrote short novels, like instead of doing 700, 800 page tomes, If you've done like again hardy length level novels, maybe I'd like them a lot more. But um, books like Great Expectations and Oliver Twist and David Copperfield are genuinely, hand on heart, some of my least favorite classic novels ever. They just do absolutely nothing for me. Great Expectations actually was the first novel that really proved, showed me that not just because a book is a classic doesn't mean it's for you. And that's Dickens for me. Tell me why I'm wrong about that in the comments, because I will go back and read Dickens again. I read him like all the time with his nonfiction, but it's his fiction that gets in the way of that. So that's Dickens. Next we have we're doing a bit of a jump because we've done some classic authors, but we're going to talk about Akatar next. I want to be a romanticy girly. I've done the Imperial novels. They're not good. I've tried romanticy here and there, but Akatar I cannot get through. I thought the first book was fine, and I'm struggling my way through the second. I actually gave up because I want to catch up because Sarah J. Maas is obviously doing the two new Akatar books in the series, and I want to catch up before I do that, but I just can't do it. And I want to find at least one romanticy series I like, and it hasn't happened yet. I guess the closest would be Sarah Beth Durst with the like Spell Shop, all that series. I really love those books. But that's really it. I just want to be a romanticy girly at some points, but yeah, Akatar. Tell me why I'm wrong. Why I can't get through Akatar. I just don't like the writing. It's so over. There needs to be an editor, please. But considering how long some of those books in the series get, it's a bit it's a lot. But yeah, Akatar. Tell me why I'm wrong in the comments. And then the last author we have is the one, the only, one of the biggest selling authors of all time. You have to go to your nan shelf and see if you can find a book of her, and that's Barbara Cartland. I have probably read 10-ish novels from Cartland. I've done her debut. I've done some more famous books. I've done, the novels that she may have plagiarized of Georgia Hare. I've done a good double-digit amount of reading of Barbara Cartland. Even though that's not even a drop in the bucket. This girl done literally, 600 novels or something like that. I just don't like Cartland's writing. I read it, and I finish, her slim romances, and I go, wow, that was a book. And then it's like I never read it because it's so forgettable to me. I wonder if there are people that love Barbara Cartland on BookTube, or is it just that Barbara's audience is just dead at this point because she wrote for so long, but I feel like no one talks about her anymore. And there's so many better historical romance writers from the last God knows 50 years. I'd even take a bodice ripper like Kathleen Woodward or Joanna Lindsay any day over a Cartland novel, or Georgia Hare. You're right there. But Cartland, I couldn't even name you a Cartland book I like because they all just fuse in together. And I know that's the point of genre fiction and all that. That's kind of repetitive and the same thing in a good way. But yeah, Cartland, oh my god, it's just never clicked with me. I can see why people like her. It's very clean romance. It's very, I think, well written. But it's just not rememberable to me or interesting in a way that other Regency authors are. Besides the fact she, helped pioneer Regency romance and, has a historical setting for every time period and type of romance under the absolute sun. You go to her website and it is literally insane. The way you can custom your Barbara Cartland book that you want to read. I kind of like that. But she's just one of those authors that I don't get. And help me prove me wrong in the comments. Do you like Barbara Cartland? So that's my list. That's the 6. And in terms of books I want other people to give a second chance, I've got 2. I know I'm cheating because it's supposed to be 1, but I don't care. The first book I have is Picnic at Hanging Rock by Joan Lindsay. Some people don't like this book. It's one of my favorite books ever, to be honest. It is the ultimate book club book in terms of it just opens up so many discussions. I think people don't like Picnic at Hanging Rock because everything's so up in the air. Like, did it happen? Did it really not? Like, you don't have anything to grab a hold of in terms of a story, and the actual disappearance isn't the majority of a novel. It happens at the start, and then the rest of the book is the impact of that and the ripples that that disappearance or aliens had on the school and the local community. And I just love Picnic at Hanging Rock. It hurts me that Joan never really wrote outside of Picnic at Hanging Rock. She did do a memoir and like a couple other stuff, but in terms of like pumping out novels, she definitely wasn't that. She was well into her career by the time Picnic was released. But yeah, I passionately love Picnic. Give it another try or watch an adaptation. I've never seen an adaptation of Picnic at Hanging Rock, but I can imagine it being a really interesting one to tackle. But that's the one of them. And then another author this time I want you to give a second chance is the diva herself. This channel is pretty much becoming the Jackie Collins YouTube channel fan club at this point. You need to go pick up a Jackie Collins book and reread it. I am currently I'm listening to Hollywood Kids, which is the third book in the Hollywood series, and Jackie Collins was writing about nepo babies in the 90s, and I'm like, oh my god, like it's really fun to see how especially 40 years, 50, 60 years after Jackie's first book, but seeing her influence and how so many people dismissed Jackie Collins for being a bit trashy, but how certain authors over time picked at the pieces that they from Jackie and then ran with it, but looked down on Jackie for doing that at the same time, like mafia romance, or just the sheer level of spice in her books is insane, especially for the 60s. Like, oh my god. Stuff like that. But I think Jackie, go pick up, the stud, go pick up the bitch, go pick up, Lucky or Hollywood Wives. Oh my god, if you have not read Hollywood Wives, you haven't lived, sorry. It's, to quote one of the authors, blockbusterific, and you need to read it. And that's the video. I can't even speak anymore. Tell me why I'm wrong. So tell me why I'm wrong in the comments, and tell me, because immediately you'll finish this video and go pick up Hollywood Wives by Jackie Collins. So tell me what you think of Jackie as well, and Picnic at Hanging Rock. But yeah, so thank you so much for watching BookTube, and I will see you next time.